Hey, what's up? This is a review of the Helson Shark Diver 38 in stainless steel. And so we're just going to get right into it. Hopefully I can get through this pretty fast. So this is what it comes in. Leather pouch, watch row, and it's, I think it's genuine. It kind of smells real and feels real, and you got the suede interior. That's, it's basically red, but showing up maybe as orange on this, in this video, but it really is a more of a red color. Anyways, what you get in it is the Helson warranty card, and it's good for it's international warranty. It's good for 12 months from the original purchase date, and it comes with an ISO frame style of strap, rubber strap. This has that. It's kind of that vanilla smell. It's pretty good quality, actually really good quality strap. Very pliable. It's not the type that will stick to lint a lot, at least as far as my experience. And so you got this nice option, and you do have some extra. Well, here's the links that I have. Those are the extra ones after I sized it. But you have some spare screw pins, and those would be, I think, primarily for links. Let me see. Because I don't think they're, yeah, they're not quite wide enough for the straps themselves. Just checking. So, and then you get this tool here, and that's for sizing the, or two things. It's to open up the hex screws, and to size the, not to size the bracelet, but to well, it's to size the bracelet. There's the screw pins, and the screws on both sides. So what you need to do is basically take a screw head on one side and the other, and so you can hold it. Otherwise, it's going to keep spinning. So you need to have two roughly the same size, if not the same size, screw head to fit on either side, and then undo it, and it'll come apart. This tool is more for the lugs here. It doesn't use spring bars, just so you know. And yeah, I still have this wrapped up because this is going out pretty soon. But I'll undo it for now so I can show it to you. Here it is, and I got this in the blue dial and blue bezel. So yeah, you take this tool and you unscrew it. And the thing is, they only give you one of these, and you actually need two, because again, much like the screws, you're going to need another tool on this side to hold it and unscrew it. Otherwise, it will just keep spinning, right, and never come undone really. So luckily, I do have some hex tools that are about the same size. What size it is, I'm not sure. Sorry, but I don't think it's something uncommon. So that's how that works. Anyways, just so you know, they only give you one tool. At least they only gave me one tool. And let's get into the dimensions here. Get this going too. Helson. Well, first, Helson is a micro brand, and they've been around for a while. They're in I don't think they're in Singapore. I believe they're in Hong Kong, if I'm not mistaken. And they ship out from there. If I'm wrong, excuse me. Let's see here on the warranty card. I'm pretty sure it's Hong Kong. Does it say? No. Well, I'm pretty sure it is, because if I'm not mistaken, this ship out from Hong Kong. And they're primarily known for making dive watches. And this is one of their earlier pieces, and maybe one of the more famous ones because and more popular ones because a lot of people do like this model. It's quite handsome. A real tool diver, as you can see from the design, it's all completely brushed. And they come in various sizes too, the Shark Diver. By the way, the crown action is really good. You don't have to do any like back play to find make sure that thread is seated before it, you advance it and try to screw it, because sometimes some crown threading, it's a little bit finicky and you can accidentally cross thread it, I guess, if you catch it in the wrong place and try to screw it down. This never had that problem. It catches nicely and easily, and you can just screw it down. And where was I going with this? So yeah, they come in different sizes. This is the smallest at 38 millimeters. They have a 40, they have a 42, and I believe a 45. They can also come in different materials. They have titanium, they have brass, they have bronze. Yeah, and they also have different dial materials, different dial and bezel colors. I think they all pretty much use super lumen over C3, so as far as I know, they all glow green. And they come with different movements depending on which one you get. This one is using a Miyota 9015, but they've been known to use Swiss Edda movements as well. So there's a lot of variety, and the prices are pretty competitive. I think this retails normally for about $5.99, but they have occasional discounts, usually about 10%, and so that's not bad. And it's quite a handsome watch. Quick dimensions, again, this is 38, and the height is actually 12, which is actually pretty slim. It may look thicker because there isn't any real beveling or contouring, undercutting like you might see like on a Seiko diver. So it's more of a slab side cut, but it is 12, at least that's what they stated, 46 millimeters lug to lug, quite wearable, and the lug width is 20. And again, these take kind of the hex screw pins, so it's very heavy duty. You don't have spring bars, so it works with this included bracelet. It's kind of looks like a strap code Hexat's oyster bracelet. Well, I guess it's not really oyster, but kind of a Hexat style, right? It's got that thick angular links, which I think matches the watch pretty nicely. And what was I going to say here? And it goes with these. You can use it with the included black rubber isoframe style strap. And if you want to use something, sorry about the focus, aftermarket, you could, you can just use these and of course run a needle through it, some sort like you would with a traditional spring bar. But if you want an aftermarket two-piece strap, it is possible to do it. You just have to remove the spring bars, and as long as it fits this, the thickness of this screw, right, screw pin, then it should work. Right, you just take out the spring bar and then just run this through whatever strap you have, as long as the diameter of that hole is big enough to accommodate that. So you do have options, but just so you know, you don't use regular spring bars with this. Talked about the movement, Miyota 9015, the dimensions. Water resistance is 300 meters, and it comes with a 120 click unidirectional bezel. It's very nice action. I was going to go with this titanium at one point, but titanium is kind of hard to find one that has good rotating bezel action. It lines up pretty nicely, and there's no back play, and it's got just the right amount of resistance, and because of the way the bezel was cut, you get a really good grip on this, and same with the crown actually. So it's a really nice bezel. But yeah, I was saying, if you go with the titanium, almost everyone I've heard that has it. They find that the rotating action is a little bit grainy or gritty. Doesn't quite have the right feel or a nice feel as opposed to a stainless steel bezel. I can believe that. It's just, I think the material and probably the weight or lightness of it kind of makes it feel kind of weird when you turn it. But they'll work. It's just, I think part of a nice dive watch is having a nice feeling tactile experience, especially with the bezel. And so that's why one other reason I opted for is the stainless steel version. And on top of that, is it line? I went past it. On top of that, I don't know. I'm okay on titanium. I kind of like the weight of stainless steel. So for me, that was the way to go. Sorry about the focus. And yeah, I went with the 38. I could do a 40. I have a 6.875 inch wrist, just under 7 inches, and that definitely could fit a 40 millimeter, even a 42. But because it has these really broad lugs, shoulders, one reason I like this is it kind of looks like a Submariner, like a modern maxi case one. If you look at it like this, but just more angular, especially at the lugs. I mean, sorry, the lugs, the crown guards, and of course when you see it in profile, it's not exactly an oyster case, but from this angle, it kind of has that same profile as a modern maxi case Submariner. And I don't know, I like those, and I also like the vintage subs was slimmer. Um, it's a different look, different style, and I can appreciate both. But anyways, going back to this, that's why I kind of like this. And so it actually wears larger than the stated dimensions of 38 or 40. I think it tends to wear at least a millimeter or two above. So you actually put this on wrist, which I'll do right now. It's got pretty good presence for 38. It really looks and wears more like a 39. Probably for me, it feels more closer to a 40. And despite the sharp, clean angle, edges, I don't feel any real hot spots. Like I feel like, it doesn't feel like I'm going to get cut. And on wrist, I never felt any hot spots. Actually quite comfortable. And I like how the handsets, if I can focus here again. Come on. The handsets have a nice, just clean, flat finish. Pretty sure they're brushed too, but it matches everything. It's just very clean. And the Lume on this is super, and I think kind of renowned. Everyone knows that they have really good Lume application on the Helson watches. This is a sapphire bezel insert, and all these are lumed, all the indices and numbers. Everything on here is lumed as well. The markers and the hands and everything. We have a date at I guess the 4:30, and I don't mind because it's actually color matched to the blue, so it's like a blue background with a white print, and I think that's the best position for this. I don't usually like them at this position, but this is actually acceptable because one, it maintains dial symmetry. You get all the triangles around, and you don't lose any of the lume plops or the markers, right? And So that's pretty much the only space you can put it without, you know, potentially removing or cutting out one of the markers. And I think because of the plain cutout style, and it's color matched, and it's rather obscure, because in relationship to especially the hour markers and everything else is so bold that those come to the forefront when you look at the watch. And I find that the date window kind of just drops and disappears for the most part. You know, it doesn't really interrupt my eye in viewing, if you know what I mean. It's just so much of the details, the rest of it on the dial, just so bold, and they pop out that, yeah, that just kind of, it's not that significant. So that's it. And it's not a lot of text on the dial, just the brand, the model, automatic 300 meters. So that's a nice clean touch. And on the back, it's just a screw down case. I did put back the sticker on here, so that's what that is. But you can see there's like a diver and some sharks going around, and some, I think, a little bit brief specs on the back. Let's focus this if we can. So you can see right past that plastic cover that I put back on here. And yes, of course, you got sapphire crystal up front as well. It's flat, but that's fine. It's smooth, and I don't know why. I sometimes, because of how shiny and something about the way this looks, it briefly reminds me of an Oris Aquis. Just something about the way this bezel is done in relationship to everything else. I don't know how to explain it, but it's, you know, this is, you can see some, again, some design influences. For me, it's Submariner, at least in the case, at least modern. From this angle, there's probably some other elements I'm not listing, but it's got some nice, of course, sword hands, and but it's definitely its own thing, which is cool. And it feels good on the bracelet, and it's pretty darn comfortable, of course, on the strap. I'm not gonna try to remove this and put this on here now, but if you can imagine this on here, it works pretty well. But oh yeah, going to the bracelet again, screw pins, and there's a couple two micro adjusts here, but basically what you have is the toolless dive extension here. Not really a micro adjust, because you can go way more than just micro. I mean, you can, you know, just, this extends quite a bit, probably more than you practically need, but I still appreciate that. I prefer the one like on my CW here, Christopher Ward, like one of the modern ones where the adjustability is on the inside, and you just kind of pull this switch or whatever in the back, and then you can extend the bracelet, and it's all internal. You don't see any gap like you do with this. And sometimes this edge here, the way it is, can be kind of sharp, and that's not so cool. But I just primarily use this. Whoops. Okay. I primarily use this. I have this size pretty good to how I normally the size of my wrist is, but sometimes when I'm working or whatever, and it does get tight, it's good that, what's good about this is that you just do this. See, one hand to just quickly loosen it. And if you're careful, you can even just kind of wiggle it by one space, and then you can just quickly just ratchet it down to where it's not too loose, and it opens up the bracelet enough for your wrist to not feel so tight. Right, so usually I only open it up about one space, but sometimes if it's particularly bad, I might go two, you know, So that's a good thing. You don't actually have to take the watch off to do it. You know, it can all be done basically just like that, real quick and easy. So I think that's an advantage to this particular design. And you see other brands use this. I know for me, this is an option you can get from Strapcode as well, amongst other types of clasps on the bracelets. So yeah, that's how we use it. And you do that, the gap is not that big, and I rarely run my hand across the bottom anyways, with my fingers, so it's not really an issue, but it's just something to be aware of. And yeah, this is a great watch. I just love how it's just completely such a manly watch for even a 38. It's quite got the nice wrist presence, and it's completely brushed. And personally, I like brushed over any kind of finish, over high polish or bead blasted. It's just a look I like, because you just get enough shine, yet it's not overly shiny and not overly flat either, as you might get with a bead blasted look. It is possible to restore some scratches that that you get on here because it's brushed versus well, you could do a high polish of course, but if it's bead blasted, which they do offer I think on some of these models, once you scratch it, there's no way you can do it at home or something, right? Unless you have some bead blasting machine to refinish it, but most people don't. So once it gets scratched, that's pretty much it if you got a bead blasted case. And I don't know, I find it easier to match hardware on like strap options when you have a brush finish or even high polish. And I guess that's about it. This has been running pretty darn accurately. I don't think it's been more than plus 5 seconds a day. And it's just a smooth sweeping, high beat, reliable Japanese Miota movement. And I definitely recommend this to anyone who wants a nice dive watch, tool watch. And if you Lume junkie, you can't lose with this Lume here. It really looks good. I'll do a Lume shot in a little bit. Was there anything else I wanted to say? Just give you some more angles here. I don't know. This looks really cool. Just like it's just completely machined out, this block of metal. And what I would like to see is oh yeah, you can also get different inserts, ceramic. Sometimes they have, and sometimes they have aluminum ones. There's all sorts of combinations on their site, so just go check out the Helson Watches website if you're interested. I bought this, so I'm not going to get paid to say anything. All my stuff that I show, I bought with my own money, and they were in my own collection, and I bought it for myself. So maybe there's a little bias there, but I've definitely not been paid to say anything, and it's not gifted or anything like some other channels. I don't have that many subscribers, so I don't get that kind of privilege. At least not yet. We'll see. But anyways, yeah. So I can honestly say stuff about this watch. So what I would like to see is, I gotta get up for a second. I'd like to see. I was on the fence about the flat markers. They're just printed on, but that's why one reason it took me a while to warm up to buying this. I like applied markers when I can get them, and if I was worried they might look too plain and flat. I mean, I guess sometimes it does, but when in person, because everything's so bold, it's actually not too bad. But I do like and they only do this on one model. I think it's the 40 millimeter in black, and they have applied indices for the triangles and circles on that dial in black on the 40 millimeter version. Stainless steel. I think they just have it in brushed finish anyways. I'd like to see that on the rest of them. I personally like um, applied markers. You get that little highlight around that's framed around the indices, and when you catch it just right in the light, you just see those kind of this frame just kind of pop out, and this adds some depth to the dial as well. So they could think about doing that for more models in the future. I think that'd be pretty great. What else would I change? Not much. Everything's pretty well thought out, and I just like the variety of a choice of movements. I don't mind Miota, but for any of you who really stuck on Swiss, you do have Swiss ETA versions. Maybe not necessarily in the 38 for some reason, but like in the 40 millimeter range, they have both. It just depends on the execution of the color that you get and all that. That varies. I'd say they should include 2 of those tools for adjusting or removing the screw pin for the end link here, because one won't really do it, and then you'll have to just scavenge your home for existing tools that will work on this side, so you can actually undo it better. Perhaps do a quick release system instead of doing the pin, but I don't mind. It's kind of neat to have something that looks solidly built, and it's made it to the case quite nicely, in my opinion. Very tight, perfectly fitting. See, there's really no looseness or play. And what else would I say? Maybe offer some blue lume. I like blue lume, like BGW9, but what they're using right now definitely works. It rivals, I'd say, Seiko Luma Bright. At least their application of it seems to hold pretty reactive and strong and long lasting. And yeah, I probably wouldn't change much there. For the 38, they should add more options. Right now, it's just limited to this blue, a black, and a white with a black bezel, and kind of has like a faux vintage, like patina lume. It's not too heavy, but it is kind of on the off-white or custard or even orangey yellow side, right? Whatever the patina color that they have is. Let's get into Lume Shot and close up. Well, I just blasted it, and you can see that's when you got a strong, good application of Lume, even in a lit room. You can sort of see that the indexes are glowing green already, and that's probably a pretty good sign. So I just blast it real quick again, and there you go. I mean, I should turn off the lights, but I think you get the idea. You're not going to have any trouble reading this. Super legible, very bold, very clear, and long lasting. They do a great job on the Lume and the Shark Diver, and I think across the board on just about all their other models. They do a number of homage pieces, but they definitely have a lot of original pieces too. Yep. So yeah, for $5.99, for at least for the Miota version here, the remote movement, not bad. But if you can wait and get the 10% off, even better, right? So again, I did just sell this. I really wanted to keep this, but why I sold it is not, there's nothing bad about it, but I'm trying to reduce my collection down to 3, and this one didn't quite make the cut yet. I'm thinking if I want to do something blue dial, and I do want to add a blue dial, I actually want something more radiant, something a little more pop. And this doesn't quite do that. Most of their dials are pretty flat in tone. There's nothing really, that eye-catching about the colors that they use necessarily and the application is usually just a flat print or color or whatever it is they use for their dials. Same with the bezels, although it can vary depending if it's sapphire, ceramic, or um, aluminum insert. It'll give you a slightly different look. Um, I would like to revisit this in 38 again, maybe 40. I might try 40, but 38 is quite nice though. It's not too big, but for 38 and the way these lugs are, you get that almost 40 millimeter size, and it's definitely enough presence. But anyway, I do like this. I think if I did this again, just a straight black would be best for me. Such a straight up tool watch, black on black. Can't go wrong with that. And as such, they don't add more applied indices versions to a 38, and it's just that 40 that's in black, which is currently sold out anyways. I might try the 40 with the applied indices, and I think that might be pretty killer and just about perfect for this style watch. So that's about it. Any questions, comments? Keep it clean, keep it positive. I don't take any crap, so I will delete or just ignore anything that is not conducive or to discussion of the watch topic at hand, right? And that's it. Have a good one, and catch you in the next. Thanks. Bye.